Welcome back to At Issue here on News 12 Long Island. Gangs on Long Island and what is being done to fight the problem. The phone lines are open, 516-393-1800. You can also email us at news12li@news12.com. Now, viewers on the news12.com sound-off board are also weighing in on this subject. Very busy. They have a lot to say. Let's take a look at some of them. Old Hand is saying, as long as there are gangs in any Long Island town, that is a situation which threatens our lifestyle everywhere on Long Island. It is dangerous to the safety of our children, even those who live in towns that don't have gang trouble yet, they add. Number 2 says, member says, I'm very concerned about the recent increase in visible gang activity. I'm surrounded by it. MS-13 is getting huge in Freeport and spreading into Baldwin, where I live. Now the Latin Kings are coming in and challenging MS-13 for territory. My house is for sale. I'm getting out before it's too late. And then a mom says, in my humble opinion, the gang members need to be treated like the criminals they are, not misguided kids. You know, Paul, that's interesting. I mean, are they criminals or are they kids with a bad home life, kids with problems?
A lot of them have problems. The home life, dysfunctional families, single-parent families. Also, sometimes the schools don't have, because the finances, the money to really provide the support they need. Learning disabled kids, for example. And no, to label young people wannabes as criminals, I think just distorts the whole issue of where we can help them. I mean, as is, our prison population is overcrowded. I mean, we're just going to keep anybody who we think is in doubt, we just put them in prison. There are so many different ways, and as the legislator mentioned, there are agencies and there are programs willing to help. I think it is a lack of awareness when parents say, well, my kid is not involved, because we're seeing tonight that there are signs, there are things you can look for. But to label kids as criminals, I think we're going overboard in that direction, no question about it.
Some of our neighbors are watching in Roosevelt, some of our fellow Long Islanders, and that's where News 12 Long Island's Dana Lowy is. She is at Roosevelt Public Library. Dana?
Hey there, Lee. Well, it's interesting. We were talking about programs, both after-school programs and programs in the school. And the folks here, it was interesting. I got a very different result when I asked the parents if the kids have gang-related programs, prevention programs in the school. Kids, every kid here, raise your hand if you know about a gang prevention program in your school. You do one? All right, I got a little hand over there, but my mom shook her head no. All right. The point is, the parents said, oh yeah, they're there, but if the kids don't know about it, you tell me, effective or not? What's the situation like? You're just in middle school, but it's still everywhere, even at your age, huh?
Well, it was a lot of beef before, but it ain't as much as before, like, because everybody's starting to join the same thing.
Mm-hmm. So that your after-school programs is helping with it? You're in an after-school program now?
At the center, they got boxing and like art. They got talent shows and basketball and stuff over there.
You ever been recruited by a gang? Anyone you know ever been recruited? We'll ask your friend over here, because I know you guys are together. You ever been recruited by a gang?
No.
Anybody you know ever been recruited by a gang?
Yeah, I know a lot of people that have been recruited.
Well, how does it work, and how do they stay out of it? Anybody you know successfully avoided it, and how did that happen?
No, I don't think I know anybody that avoided it.
Yeah. All right. Real quick, I know you wanted to talk about the parents' role.
Yes.
She was just talking about that real quick, because we were talking about that. What did you have to say about that?
Well, I was happy with some of the callers that did call in, and that is a missing part of the effort of trying for the prevention and intervention efforts that everybody's doing. But we need the parents to come out. They can no longer sit inside and watch News 12 and not come out and realize that they're a major part of what the solution is. And until they do that, it's very frustrating, because they have the opportunity to start at the home with the virtues, values, all those things, and they may do those things, but then they need to be reinforced over and over again.
Thank you very much. Okay, Lee, well, that's what we're hearing here. We're not hearing as much emphasis on the schools. Yeah, that's important, but you heard it from the mentoring dad before, and you're hearing it from this dad now. They want to see more parental involvement.
Parental involvement. Dana, thank you very much. I know Sergeant Quinn, you wanted to say something.
The Nassau County Police Department and the Suffolk County Police Department both have speaker programs for awareness for parents. It's been going on for 5 years. If you call your local precinct, you call your Nassau or Suffolk departments, we will send a speaker for parents. The children don't want to hear from the police. The children want to hear from young men like Sergio, former gang member who's turned his life around. They listen to Sergio better than they will listen to the police. But for parents, teachers, PTAs, the Nassau County Police and the Suffolk County Police have speaker programs. We come out, make awareness, and that is another reason why the parents are seeing more because we have made them more aware in the last 4 or 5 years.
All right, so parents, the help is out there for you if you have the questions. So call your local police department. They will help you the very best that they can. Joe is on the line. Joe, thanks for joining us. You have a question?
Yeah, hi. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
My question is, do you think there's a direct correlation with the fact that we have literally hundreds of thousands of illegals flooding into both counties and the increase in gang activity? And also, you're intimating, or the show is intimating, that the gang problem is essentially younger people. But you can go outside of Home Depot almost every day and see older adults and older teens, rather, and young adults that are obviously gang members because of the colors and the it's pretty obvious, and they're there every day. We're not talking about young kids in school. We're talking about kids.
That's true, Joe. Jim, what were the ages in the Hampton Bays case? Do you remember?
The defendants varied in age from about 18 to 20.
18 to 20. Okay,
and the
so
victim
we're
was
not
also about 18 years old.
We're not just talking about young kids.
There's no question, though, that when the caller said that the immigration situation, whether illegal or legal, okay, is certainly part of the issue, because when people come from other countries or whatever, especially young people, you tend to live or be networked with the group that you're with. As you said before, they don't even like the police to be involved sometimes. You take care of the problem yourself. And so the issue of immigration, like the Farmingville situation, it's interlinked together. That the support that people want sometimes that the kids will get is related to that. And the Latino and also another piece we're finding is with the internet, a lot of these gangs can communicate very readily with Los Angeles, with New York City, with Detroit, with Chicago, where other members of the gang reside.
Yeah. Now, Sergio, I know this is a sore point with you because you don't want everybody to think it's just an African-American Latino situation. There are, suburban white kids involved. But when you listen to the names of the gangs, the Latin Kings, MS-13, Los Gatos, they certainly do have, a Hispanic ring to them, which leads people to think that it's a problem in that community.
Of course, and I don't deny that, but when you hear skinhead, KKK, Hell's Angels, the Pagans, these are gangs that have been on Long Island for quite some time. Over 70 people arrested in a melee in Plainview, homicides committed, all middle-aged white men and women that came from New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Delaware, but there's no real outcry and outpour. In my opinion, one of the reasons why there isn't much of an investment in prevention and intervention programs is because many communities focus and believe that they're exempt from the issue, that they can never be fazed by it.
Yeah, and you're worried about that.
And I'm extremely worried about that.
Okay, we're going to go to Mike from Westbury. Mike, thanks for joining us.
Yes, I feel that we have a very severe problem here. I'm listening to the panelists, and it saddens me is like this young lady who was executed, ma'am, in Old Westbury. She was executed, shot in the head because she was trying to leave the gang. So with the panelists, everybody's saying, well, these children are trying to leave the gangs, and what the gangs are saying is, if you try to leave, we're going to take you out. And if we don't take you out, we're going to take your family out, or we're going to take whatever. And it's a scary situation.
Yeah, now thank you. Yeah, Mike, there's the situation of somebody who tried to get out of gang life. Sergio, you did it. How did you do it?
I think it's extremely important, number one, that we don't jump the gun. We really don't know why the young lady was killed, and therefore we need to, sit back and wait till everything comes out. Okay. But that's a prime example in terms of how the system failed. You have mothers and fathers that are seeking help, and we do not have the resources. I'm afraid that parents that are watching this show might actually say, let me reach out to, the legislator or the police officer or Strong program, and my son will be saved, or my daughter will be saved. We do not have those resources. The legislators, I just want to make it very clear, the funding that has been, it's overwhelmingly law enforcement and suppression, and they've been doing their job. Where we lack the funds is in prevention and intervention.
I want to ask our police officers here, can somebody who wants to get out of a gang go to you for help?
We help kids get out of gangs. The parents sometimes move. Sometimes they're able to get out. There's different ways to get out of the gangs. It's very difficult to get out of a gang. Once you're a full-fledged member, it's very difficult to get out.
All right.
There's different ways to get out, different gangs.
All right, I want to get another caller in. Marilyn from Amityville is on the line. Marilyn?
Hello?
Hello. What's your question?
Yeah, I would like to know, parents, turn it down, please. Parents talking about there's not enough community centers and help and stuff for the kids and things like that. But how can you help a kid that don't want to be helped?
Good question. All right, Kavan?
Well, one of the big things, and I just want to piggyback on what Sergio had said, it's so crucial that if these kids want to leave gangs, what's there for them? I mean, basically, you have to be able to provide them with a job, education. Something has to be on the table if you're talking about if they're going to replace their gang life with a positive life. And I think right now we have to give more options to our young people, and that's why we always have to keep the fight up to make sure we have youth programs. In regards to the caller's question, in regards to
how do you help a kid who doesn't want to get out?
It's difficult. I think no kid.
But you don't give up. Paul, that's got to be it. Even if a kid doesn't want help, you can't give up on them, right?
You can't give up on them, and there are counseling services available where we have worked with kids who want to get out of gangs and giving some techniques and some ways in which they get into programs with other peer groups, for example, in the school that are not gang related. And most parents, people don't realize that how the peer groups, they draw kids in. What we've been successful with is a kid who's in a gang situation, getting them out of that through a school program or whatever, which involves him then, let's say, with sports, where he now is involved in different peers and different groups. So the reinforcement now is not to be in the gang situation where the money, the clothes, and the car are the most important thing.
All right, we got to take a break. Our phone line's still open. We want to hear from you. Our time is short. 516-393-1800 is the number. News12li@news12.com is the email. Now, as we go to break, more of your thoughts from the News12.com sound-off boards. You're watching At Issue here on News 12 Long Island.
Worried about break-ins?